Hi, this is Anna Olsen. I'm your host tonight with A1R Radio, Insights into Consciousness. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about how you can use your intuitive abilities and what that entails. So when we start with what it is that we're doing with any sort of sensory ability, any sort of external sensory ability that's outside of our five senses, we are starting with the energy. And it's an energy field that we have to call in and utilize. So when we talk about energy, what does that entail? It entails a frequency, it entails a vibration that has to be at a certain level. So I choose to do my readings at Love and Above, which is a very high frequency. It's a very positive frequency. And what that brings in is the energy of angels, guides, and good spirits or whatever, what have you. The lower your frequency, the lower the vibration of spirits and intuition and all of that comes in. So basically what we do is we talk about energy and how we utilize that in terms of frequency, and look at it as an AM FM radio wave. So if you look at your brain and your nervous system as an antenna, that can really help with looking at how we tune into different frequencies and vibrations and how we can use those in our daily lives and how we can use those to get signals from spirit or signals from those who have passed on. And we can use that for our benefit and the benefit of others. So basically when we start to tune into this energy frequency, we will either pick up on what somebody else's message is towards us or whatever we're sending out to pick up on. So it can go either way. We can accept somebody's signal, or we can put out the signal that we need a signal. So that's similar to turning on a radio so that you can pick up on your AM, FM radio signals, or it can look like somebody's telling you, hey, you need to turn on the radio because you need to listen to this. So we can either kind of get the tap on the shoulder, like, oh, I want to talk to you, from spirit, from, they say spirit and spirits, or those who have passed. So it could be somebody who has passed and they're tapping you on the shoulder, like, hey, you need to be on this frequency because I have something that I need to tell you. Or you can have their loved one in front of you and you end up asking that spirit for messages, and that's tuning into them. But oftentimes they want to tap you on the shoulder and say, listen, could you send this message? So it can go either way. And when you go in, you tap into these frequencies, and it's sort of like, there's all these different frequencies you can be on. It more or less will result in a message coming through most of the time. So I just learned from a great mentor today about how we can, if we're sitting down with somebody and we're not getting a signal, if we're not getting a signal from a person, we can ask them to do this exercise. Or if we're not able to get a signal for some reason or another, we can do this exercise to really zone in and figure out how to do a reading. That is that you put your hand on your heart and you close your eyes and you think about things that make you happy, such as your children, your child, a good memory of a family member or a friend, even a pet, just whatever brings you joy, and to really trust the process that way by bringing in those good vibes and all of the things that make you happy and fulfilled. So that's one way that if the signal's blocked, you can open that channel up so that you may begin to channel in all the signals that you need to. So that said, there are a few things that we can do to practice accepting a signal or sending out a signal. One of the things that we can do is grounding. When we ground, we imagine things, and it's also called visualization or meditate. Some people call it a form of meditation. It's basically just bringing the light in through the top of your head with your eyes closed after you take some nice deep cleansing breaths, maybe 3 nice deep breaths. You can close your eyes and just imagine this beautiful white light coming down through the top of your head, and like ocean waves of your body, just cleansing any sort of stress away till your whole body is relaxed, all your muscles are relaxed. And then you can imagine this white light going down through the bottom of your feet. You're going to uncross your arms, legs, and ankles. So you're going to have an open body. And this light will go down to the core of the earth, come back up and through the top of the head again to ground you into the earth and also connect you to heaven. So you're the mid space, you're the connection in between heaven and earth. This is very important to do before readings, before any sort of study on the topic, or any sort of thing that you want to do to channel this good energy, positive energy, and you just draw in whatever energy it is that you would like to use for that reading. So if you're going to do a reading on a specific person who has passed, you may want to think about that person and what's best for the highest and greater good of that reading, or for the person who's getting the reading. So these are just a few tips before you start a reading or to get ready for a reading. In addition, the whole premise to any of this work is to help and serve others. So when we're talking about helping and serving others, I really like to quote my good friend Julie Jensen, who's taught me a whole lot. And she's Julie Jensen Wolfhart on Facebook. So if you want to find her, she's there. But she taught me a really great concept about how we can keep ego out of doing a reading. And when you keep ego out of doing a reading, that looks like us, somebody doing a reading or somebody who's getting spirit messages, to not worry so much about how you look to the person or what comes, and what comes through, but more or less to do a good job and to be in the right frequency and to focus. And that's really what we're talking about. We need to leave our baggage at the door, and we need to not make this about us or how good we look or any of those sorts of things. It needs to be more about, how can I serve this person? I need to focus on them. It's being selfless and it's being grateful. So those are the things that really, really get us into the mode of being service to other people and really, really coming out ahead in a way of working with the highest and greater good and staying out of ego. The more we can stay out of ego, the more that we can be of service not only to others, but to also be of service to ourselves. Because readings are not just a one-way street. They are a two-way street. They are a win-win. And when we're helping others, we're also helping ourselves. We're winning by helping, and we're learning the entire time. So every time I do a reading, I learn something, because there are no two readings are exactly alike. And no two people or past spirits are exactly alike. I've had a few similarities between readings and the many, many that I've done. I have never had two that I could say were even really alike in a way of the person's energy, in the way that I perceive their energy, in the way that I perceive a message. All of the things that were coming up, they were just unique to that person and or the loved one that passed. So the really beautiful thing about readings is you learn something new every single time. And as a reader, or as just like anybody who doesn't do readings, like let's say for a living, but just wants to use it in their personal life, a person can really, really benefit just from using message from spirit and learning to navigate the world and those in it in a way that's for the highest and greater good. And I always want to stress it's for the highest and greater good. So I'm just like really delving into teaching people how to do this great work and how it looks to use it in their own lives. And the reason why is because I think people tend to just get off the course of spirituality, and they get too caught up in daily life and daily living and, I've got to get to work, and I've got to get my paycheck and make dinner. Okay, but there's this whole other world that's way up in the other world, that's so much more in depth than that. We need to get out of this shallow, dense consciousness of internet, cell phones, and what are we having for dinner tonight? It needs to be the depth of why am I having these relationships with the people that I am having relationships with? How can I better the lives of those around me? How can I better my life so that I can be of service to others? How can I do my work and in turn teach other people how to do their work during readings, classes, or whatnot? That is what, the whole goal I feel really is with using any type of spirit or message or doing this work. So I'd really love to take a caller. And we have Lynn Langley on the line for a reading.
Hello?
Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
How are you? Are you from Langley, or is your last name Langley?
I live in Langley.
You live in Langley. Okay.
Hello?
Hi, how are you doing tonight?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great. So how can I help you tonight?
Well, I guess I'm a little curious what you see for me for 2019. 2018 has been an amazing year for me, lots of personal growth, really trying to connect with myself a little more, focusing on my health, my relationships. Everything's been improving, and I guess I'm a little curious as to where things are going for me from here. I guess career-wise and financial is one, and just furthering my relationships is kind of where I guess my focus is.
Okay, so what I'm getting first off is that your career is going to or is currently affecting your relationships and vice versa. So our careers tend to be sort of intertwined with relationships, immediate relationships,
Right.
Romantic relationships in many different ways. So that's the first thing that I'm getting is there a concern with you and how it will feel for the people around you? Or is that your concern? Is it family life that it may affect? It's most significant?
Yeah, definitely. I would love to start my own business, and that's been my goal for quite some time, but that would be in my mind, very all-consuming. And I feel my relationships are getting better and better, and don't want to kind of backslide in that direction.
Right. So starting your own business, the thing about starting your business I'm getting is that it's going to take some time and effort to start it up, correct?
Yes, definitely.
And in doing that, it can kind of, do you have kids?
They're all grown now.
Okay. So you have some time, a little extra time now compared to when they were little.
I do.
So, yeah. So what about your significant other? Are you still married or?
Not married, but we've been together almost 6 years.
Okay, so that's why I was getting a married, but together, and I'm like, are you still married? Did you? Okay, so I think that would be the main relationship that it would affect your career change, and I think that you get a lot of support from him. But the thing I feel is that I'm not sure that you would be aware of how much that starting your new business would take away from this relationship. So that would just be something to prepare for. It probably seems like it would be easier in a lot of ways, but I do feel that a new business for you would entail more time away from him, and that's just something to keep in mind and to be aware of.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah. And the other thing that I'm looking at and I'm feeling is the financial part of it. Do you have like savings or something to start up this new business?
Not right now, no.
Yeah, because I feel like that's going to be like what I see would be your biggest concern with starting a new business is that it's not extremely dependable every month once you start up. And I think that would also be the hard part. And of course, I always see relationships with other people in our lives as most important, and it's on the forefront. But then on the financial end of it, I do see that may just kind of be the main challenge with the new business, is that you would really see some inconsistencies with your income.
Right, of course, yeah.
So these are just like the things that you really need to look at and prepare for before you start a new business. But I mean, I do see that the business would be something you would enjoy. So I feel like your happiness would go up doing this.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
I feel that.
See that your happiness, yeah, and your happiness would go up. But this is the thing. At first, it wouldn't be as fun as you may assume it will be, just because all these unexpected things would happen. Like there would be a few things that you just didn't see coming. It's much different than, you know, like if I were to go get a job at like a big company and there's a 401k, you know, already in place and all that good stuff. There's just a little more planning and work that may go into it that you're just not quite seeing right now, but that's okay. That's part of the process and that's part of the journey. And I'm just here to tell you that that's going to be part of this, and just to kind of forewarn you that, you know, this is going to be a little harder than it looks right now.
Right.
And there may be just some pit stops. I wouldn't say like it would be horrible or like, you know, avalanche type. It would just be that you would have some pit stops where you'd be like, oh, I didn't really see that coming. I didn't really expect that. You know, 4 or 5 different big things where you're kind of like having to really take a deep breath and start over on that topic or that project.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
Is there any, yeah, and that's just basically what I would tell you. And, you know, just to have a backup plan financially, so that you'd have, you know, a good month or 2 of income saved for those months where it's the unforeseen, you know, dips in your income with your own business.
Right, for sure. Absolutely.
So those are the things. And it sounds like you kind of already know. And basically, this is just a reminder. And sometimes readings are a confirmation of, you know, just what kind of like you kind of already knew. And that's usually what people really like about readings too, is just that they confirm what they were already thinking or feeling.
That's absolutely true. Yeah. Everything you're saying makes sense, and definitely has been what I have thought about and considered to some degree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So does that answer your question? Do you have more that you need?
No, I think that answers my question. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Perfect. You're so welcome. And do you have anything else you'd like to go over? Or? No, I'm good.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for calling.
Okay.
And have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So here we have basically a reading where I really love doing these readings where they're confirmation to something that the person already basically knew. So sometimes readings are just 2 people picking up on the same thing. Sometimes it's just somebody just needs confirmation that what they were thinking was correct or that they were on the right track. And that was probably one of the easiest readings I've ever done, because we just went over basically pitfalls that are coming, save money, be prepared. You could say that like basically that's just like anybody who's going into a business, but really I didn't see anything detrimental. I didn't see anything where, you know, the business would fail. I didn't see anything that told her not to do it or that she would have health problems or something like that. So this is just one of those really nice, easy breezy readings that are just really full of confirmation and good information that she's on the right track and that all of the things that she was thinking and doing was correct. So this is one other type of reading where you pretty much just align with that person's energy, and it's a confirmation of a pat on the back, you're doing a great job. So while they're not super dramatic and they don't have a lot of turns, these types of readings can be very comforting for the person getting the reading, because they basically just needed somebody to tell them, yeah, you're on the right track and everything you're doing is perfect. Because people do get scared when they take these, you know, leaps of faith where they're going into something new and an unexplored territory. And they tend to need a little bit of confirmation and just a good support from the reader. So super easy reading. It's really nice to have one of those on the show, because people can see that sometimes confirmation is just as important as new information. especially for somebody who has done a lot of planning. And I feel that Lynn had done a whole lot of planning, and that she's really, really put a lot of her heart and soul into this, and just wanted to make sure that everything would be all right. And that's basically what I saw, is that everything was going to be fine. Everything that she's been thinking so far was correct. So that said, in addition, readings, I wanted to reiterate that readings are capturing of a frequency or a signal energetically. All of it is scientific. It's an electromagnetic field that we have, that we can basically pick up little, if you want to imagine little bolts of lightning, little signals of energy that are just basically already coming at us from all around. There's even a river of information that goes over our heads in the atmosphere that we can derive information from, that we can derive intelligence from, that we can tap into to understand our own lives better and our own journey better. These things are all real. They're science. It's fact-based. It's mathematical. It's understood by people who have been using it for their entire lifetimes, and it's been used for thousands and thousands of years. So, in addition, when we use these signals and we're tapping into these signals, these frequencies, we can confirm that this is the information that we need by asking for clarification and asking if we got the right message. So when we get a signal, we have the information, we want to see if it's right. Ask for confirmation, and Spirit will give you the confirmation. So as the Bible says, ask and it will be given unto you. Knock and the door will be open. That is absolutely true. This is along the same concept, that when we ask for confirmation that we're getting a message on something, you can write it down. You can just, ask Spirit, I really need some confirmation for this. Please let me know if it's right, correct, and true, and for the highest and greater good, and you will get a confirmation. This can come through revelatory synchronicities, which means that we get a synchronistic revelation from something happening in just the right way and just the right time, and it was just way too big of a coincidence to actually be coincidental. Or it could be God remaining anonymous, as they say, where that something big just happened, but he didn't come out of the sky and show his face to you. Okay. So that's basically what you're looking for at that point. Once you start to trust your intuition more, once we start to trust that we are receiving messages from Spirit and it's confirmed, and we get the revelatory synchronicities and confirmations, then what we do is we continue to use that for the highest and greater good and to serve others and ourselves and our families. And that can lead to extreme spiritual growth. It can lead to a lot of good happening for a lot of people in a way of going down the correct road on their career, their love life, with their families, spirituality, in any arena of life. So just wanted to go over tonight how we each can use our extrasensory abilities. If there's 12 extrasensory abilities, we don't just have 5 senses, we have 12. And basically, when we learn all of these senses, we can practice them. Most of them are passed down through generations through our families. And genetically, we'll see, my parents did this and now I do it. Or my grandparents did this, now I do it. It's passed down through generations. All these different sensory abilities are passed down to generations, or they're just in our environments where we're practicing them, like our parents or our families. So it's imperative when we want to get message from Spirit to be in the high frequency of love and above, to understand that when we receive these signals, it's good to practice and to learn to trust them through revelatory synchronicities. Much of the time, readings are confirmation that we're on the right track, or that things are fine the way they are, and there isn't more information to be given. That's just as simple as it is. So, I really, really would love to give my website. I've done some work on that, and there's some new classes and one-on-one coaching on that. It's AnnaOlsenIntuitive.com. If you would like to do one-on-one sessions with me or to try some of my classes, I would love to teach you intuition, and I would love to teach you how to use your extrasensory abilities. You go to AnnaOlsenIntuitive.com, and you can just click through and see if you can get enough information on the website. If not, you can always message me, call me, and I would be happy to lead you through what one-on-one coaching is or what one of my classes are like. We have payment plans. We have a lot of different ways that you can learn how to use your intuition, not just for your personal life and for your friends and family, but also to start your own business if you so choose. So I would really love to teach this. I'm so excited to speak with you. Please get a hold of me, AnnaOlsenIntuitive.com. I'm right at the end of my show tonight. I've had a lot of fun. I will talk to you next week, and have a wonderful week.